time we give back. Sow a seed and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give a dime, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else in life. Give back. Let's give back.
Welcome to another edition of Ignite, Empower, Transform, where we take an opportunity to speak to our community superheroes. Today we have a special guest amongst us. His name is Scorpio Rogers. Welcome to the show, Scorpio.
All right, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So Scorpio, we want to get right into this because I know you're a man that wears many hats. So I want you to start this thing out on fire. Tell us who you are.
All right, so born in Harlem, raised in the South Bronx, 2 Ivy League degrees. I went to Dartmouth undergrad, I went to Columbia grad, have owned several businesses. Now I just started 2 weeks ago, I am the Dean of the Bronx campus for the School of Business at Mercy College. And I'm also the Executive Director of the new Business Incubation Center.
Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. I think people are going to have to catch up. Going to take some notes. We're going to probably get this on the DVR and rewind it. Where do you get this energy from? Where did this all start?
Hey, born in Harlem, raised in South Bronx. It's just
Also
been me
hard.
since, right, exactly. So it's just been me. I tell people I'm not a Scorpio, I'm the Scorpio. And so I just have that Scorpion energy. If you know anything about Scorpios, we're always dynamic, we're always moving, we never stop. And that's just how life is.
Okay. So you said born in Harlem. Tell me about your Harlem days. Tell me about them younger years.
So I was born and raised on 116th Street between Manhattan and Morningside. Now I go back there a block away. There is Harlem Social, I believe,
Yes.
right a block away. So I go and I look, and that's my roots. Went to elementary school there, went to junior high school there, St. Thomas Community School, which is no longer there.
Okay.
From there I went to Bronx Science, actually moved to the Bronx. I went to Bronx High School of Science, and from there I went to Dartmouth College. And while I was in the Bronx, when I was growing up, DJing started, so I was a DJ in the Bronx for a number of years, and those are the original origins.
Okay, so we have a list of things. We have associate dean, we have entrepreneurial and business owner and teacher. We have a lot of things. So we'll get to that in a second. What I want to talk about is what this program is about and how you take those things you've done or you do and how you bring them into the community and bring the community into you.
Absolutely. Well, in terms of this program and giving back, I'm all about giving back. I'm all about empowering youth. I have been a mentor. All the places that I've been at my last previous jobs have been a mentor. I have worked as like an associate scout and assistant scoutmaster for my son's scout troop. I've coached his t-ball.
You want to tell us the troop name, the name of the troop?
The number, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's in New Rochelle.
It's in New Rochelle, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And now I'm an assistant troop leader for my 2 daughters' Girl Scout troops. One troop is 1863 and the other troop is 2682, I think. That's my youngest daughter, my 6-year-old, she just joined the troop, so I don't know that number, but I'll have that number down by next week.
Okay.
And so I've always been helpful with the Girl Scouts. Again, I always help with coaching, so I've coached my son in t-ball, baseball, basketball. I coached my daughter in t-ball, baseball, basketball, softball. I actually was the assistant coach for my daughter's softball team the last couple of years. Gone to a couple championship games and haven't won them. It's just been painful. Painful. I was the head coach. We went number 1 seed, went Father's Day, and we lost. It was painful.
Wow. But I'm sure the kids had fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what life is about.
Right. So I'm hearing, you're spending a lot of time with your children, which is fantastic. This is what all fathers should do. But it also sounds like with all that they're doing and you're doing, you spend a lot of time with a bunch of other children.
Absolutely.
What are you doing for and to those children to get them to see the opportunities that you picked up coming from places they would say he probably will never get out of there? Harlem and the Bronx. I grew up in the Bronx myself and now live in Harlem. Right. Tell me about how you're affecting those children.
Right. So one of my biggest things growing up is, and I learned very early, is education. To me, education literally, as a small young child, I felt that was the way to get out of where I was coming from. And so I've always been into education. And when I talk to kids, I talk to them about education. I talk to them about going to school. I tell people when I grew up, I didn't know you didn't have to go to college. I thought everyone went to college. It was just natural.
I've told that story.
My mother always said, you're going to college, you're going to college. So I figured everyone went to college.
Right.
I was a junior in high school before I realized everyone didn't go to college.
Okay.
And so I always tell students about going to school. Now that I've been in school and I've owned several businesses, I also tell students about, I said, parents always say, go to school so you can get a good job. And I always say, come to me, I teach entrepreneurship. So I say, don't go to school so you can get a good job. Go to school so you can learn how to own your own business. And so those are the things that I like to bring to the kids. One is make sure you get an education, because regardless of what you do, people, it's a lot of statistics. If you have a college degree, you'll make at least $1 million in your lifetime, more than someone with a high school degree. And I tell people in this environment, you've got to get an education. You really have to go get a master's in what you want in order to escalate up the corporate ladder. But also, if you want to be an entrepreneur, a lot of people go out and start businesses, and unfortunately they may fail because they don't have the knowledge. You can get a lot of knowledge in school to learn how to run a business and how to be your own boss and how to control your own destiny. So those are the type of things that I talk to students about.
So I like that dynamic where you remove it from go to school to get a job. It's go to school to learn how to create your own job.
Exactly
I think that's important, and I think that's something that our community needs to hear a lot of. I take myself really quickly, same thing. I didn't realize it wasn't mandatory for me to go to college until I was a year in, and I realized, wait, I can walk out the door when I want to. I don't have to be here, but I fortunately took the opportunity to learn the things I need to learn to allow me to do some things. I've had my entrepreneurial endeavors as well, so I get it. So let's talk about that transition from, we transition from coaching and how you're igniting this energy in the children to want to do these things, to want to achieve. Let's talk about how you're empowering them with the knowledge that you're giving them, and how they're taking and running with that.
Okay, the most important thing, I think, I've owned several businesses. I've tried to employ young people. The first business I had is I was a DJ. I was actually a DJ for 16 years.
Okay.
And that was back in the day. That was fun. Once I graduated from college, I actually was a computer science major. I didn't take one business course.
Okay.
But several years out of school, I started my own business. And when I started my own business, I was selling fraternity and sorority merchandise.
Okay.
And one thing I started doing, I started hiring people, and I hired students. I actually bought out a business in Norfolk, Virginia, so I had a store, and every employee in my store was a college student.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I try to show how entrepreneurship can be beneficial. Here, again, my new role as executive director of a business incubation center, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to have the students do consulting and coaching and actually get internships with those businesses so they can see the benefit. One, see how hard it is to own your own business, but two, see the benefits of owning your own business and let them know that it's something that they could actually do.
So that's a great form of empowerment. It gives them a sense of ownership, so to speak. And I think we get away from giving younger adults, I like to call them, we don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they can do it, and I'm sure they'll benefit plenty from that. So with that, we want to talk about your transformation. So you ignite this spirit with the coaching, and then you empower them with giving them this incubation to go through and learn the different businesses and go in and do some things, and then you want to transition. How do you talk to them about transforming from just someone who's learning it to someone who needs to actually do it, to have that business?
Right. That's really interesting. Some people actually aren't meant for entrepreneurship, and so they will go and do whatever it is but they are empowered with that knowledge to knowing how to do it. And how I transform people who actually have that spirit. When you talk to an entrepreneur and meet an entrepreneur, they always have 3-4 businesses they're ready to start. Mm-hmm. And when they have 3-4 businesses ready to start, I say, okay, first let's get a business plan together. And when we get that business plan together, a lot of times a really good business plan will show you that business can't succeed. Okay. That's a great lesson to have before you put all your time and money in, okay. And then a year later you realize you spent all your time and all your money, and now you're in a business that can't succeed. And not that can't succeed because the person isn't talented enough. Maybe there isn't a big enough market for that product or service, or maybe there's so much competition that they will never be able to achieve scale such that they can make a little bit of money, but not make money enough that they can live themselves, live with their family, and employ other people, and allow them people to grow. So I just encourage them. I tell them to do the right things, specifically put together a plan, talk to people. I'm very big on mentoring, so I mentor a bunch of people. I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs. I talk to them all the time. I take them to entrepreneurial events so they can see other entrepreneurs. I always encourage, especially kids today, to read. And I know that that's almost a bad word with some of the kids today.
Yeah.
But I tell them to read. I tell them to go to Barnes and Noble, take out a book and read it. Those are the type of things I try to cultivate in them. And the ones that listen, they really like it. I'll give them magazines. I'll give them articles about things that are interesting to them. I definitely try to network them with people who are doing the things they want to do, so they can actually have contact with people who are doing the type of things they want. And all those type of things help to get those people to transform into doing the things they want to do.
So can you tell me about any, and it doesn't have to be many, maybe one or two of your success stories, someone you saw who maybe wasn't as encouraged but wanted to venture into that area, and you were able to grab hold, teach him a few things, and then watch him fly? Sure.
Gentleman, should I say his name?
Sure, why not?
Gentleman's name, Cliff Berry. When he graduated from college, he didn't have a place to go. He went to Dartmouth. He was a few years behind me. And so he's from the Midwest, but he wanted to come to New York. So I said, hey, come to New York, just sleep on my couch. So I let him stay in my place. And I was running my company, Fraternally Yours, then, so he got to see and hear some of the things I was doing. And we always talked about entrepreneurship. And a few years ago, he started his own company. And he sells, it's actually interesting, you could be one of his customers. He sells men's suits and men's custom shirts.
Okay.
And just going through that process, I talked to him a bunch. I helped encourage him. He just made me proud.
Good.
And so that was one of the things, that was first example that comes to mind, because he started a business, he's doing really well. And so that's the first example.
Okay, that's excellent, and I'm hoping he does exceedingly well.
Right.
That's good. So talking about your new role at Mercy College, let's talk about that a little bit, and what brought you here, and what you intend on getting out of this.
Sure. So I left Westchester Community College. I was the chair of their business department. And as chair of their business department, I had 5 degrees under me and 1 certificate program. I had business degrees, I had marketing degrees, I had global business degrees. I had roughly 18% of the students under me. So that was just under 2,000 students were under my auspices. And I really enjoyed talking to the students. I really enjoyed mentoring the students. I taught most of the entrepreneurship classes there. This role at Mercy is part of being the chair of the business department. When students graduate from WCC, they'd be looking for 4-year schools. And that's how I got in contact with Mercy. I started to interact with Mercy. I loved what they were doing here in the business department, in the School of Business. I would send a lot of my best students here because of all the things they're doing. They're bringing in some phenomenal professors from industry, people that have been vice presidents, presidents, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. They have a lot of good teachers here. They're creating an entrepreneurial degree, which I'm teaching a lot of the classes of. So I liked a lot of the things they were doing. They have a program called PACT, which is a personal account consultant. And every single person who comes here, every single student has a PACT mentor. So that PACT mentor helps work with them throughout their entire college career. They also have career services where we try to get all of the students internships and try to obviously get them jobs afterwards. But I just enjoyed and really liked to see what they were doing. They bring a new passion, a new energy. They've got great new facilities. And when I saw that in my mind, and I loved where I came from, I was like, that'd be something nice to be a part of. And now that they're building this business incubation center tied with my entrepreneurial background, they were like, Scorpio, this is something that we think fits your skill sets. Would you be interested? And so we started talking, and they wanted to post in the job, and I said, you know what, I'll take a look at it, and that brought me here. So the type of things I'm looking to do, one, we're going to bring entrepreneurship to the Bronx. We're building this business incubation center. We're going to have 5 or 6 businesses in the business incubation center.
Let me just ask, where's that center going to be? Is it going to be centered here?
That center is going to be physically in Mercy College campus. Right now, it looks like it's going to be, we have some spaces built out in the basement that look like corporate offices. They're phenomenal. And so we are trying to make sure that we can 100% have that space ready to go for our entrepreneurs. We're putting the process in place now for the type of entrepreneurs we're obviously looking for some startup entrepreneurs. I would love, and I'm going to, and I can probably make this happen, but I want to make sure 1 student business is there from Mercy, like an actual student has their business there. And so, and there's a couple things once we get the entrepreneurs there. we're going to tie some of the business classes in there. So maybe tie some accounting classes in so the entrepreneurs can get some accounting help. Maybe tie some of the IT classes in so maybe they can get some web help.
So
definitely tie in the marketing classes so they can get marketing.
So let me understand so that everyone else is. So this incubation center is going to be not necessarily for students. It's for small business owners who are trying to grow.
Correct.
But you want to include a student business as well.
Correct.
Someone active as a student.
Correct.
And you're talking of taking some of the courses that a business owner would need, IT, management, marketing, all those kind of things, and incorporating them. Now, do you plan on doing that as a course or just kind of making it available to the individuals that are down? How's that going to work?
Well, we have the accounting majors, we have marketing majors, we have general business majors. So what ideally, in terms of the access, I want to tie the accounting majors to the entrepreneurs to help them do accounting.
Gotcha.
So I'm looking to, and then we're finalizing all the pieces, so it hasn't been finalized, but maybe have a class and have a class project. So one class be assigned to entrepreneurs, that would mean 2 or 3 students per entrepreneur. They help them out, and they do projects so that they get credit in their class, but they're actually working with the entrepreneurs. And to give back, the entrepreneurs themselves are going to need to create probably 2 internships that we can have students working with them at least a semester, maybe 2 semesters.
Gotcha.
In their business, doing real work, not getting them coffee, doing real work, and seeing actually how the business runs, and getting themselves a real taste of entrepreneurship.
That sounds excellent. I think I might need to enroll. I like the way that sounds. I mean, when I had my own business, I partnered with a friend of mine. We didn't have any of that exposure, and neither of us knew what was needed. Now, we did well for a couple of years, but after a while, those little things, they start to set in, and we fell behind, and we had a good run, but had we had something like this, we could have benefited tremendously. Now, do you, with your entrepreneurial spirit, do you think this is something that you'll take out of here and maybe have little satellites, so to speak, of this kind of incubation?
Since it's just starting, I want to make sure that we have the model running well here, but if the model runs well, which I think it will, I could see it spawning off into either Manhattan or Dobbs Ferry, which our other 2 campuses are in. But I'm going to make sure the model runs well here first.
Understood. Wow. So you got a lot going on now. We talked at the very beginning. I said superheroes in our introduction, and I heard a little story about you and your superhero prowess. So let's touch on that. Your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is clearly the Black Panther.
Clearly Black Panther. Why the Black Panther?
Well, the Black Panther is, so to give a little background, I have somewhere between 20 and 25,000 comic books.
Wow.
I lost count.
Wow.
But I do have a minimum, at least 20,000. I think I have closer to 25,000.
Okay.
So I've been collecting comics all my life, since I was probably about 7, I believe.
Okay.
And so the Black Panther, if you know anything about comics, he is one of the 10 smartest people on the planet. And he is king of the most technologically advanced nation in the world, a nation that's never been conquered. And so, that's just me. That's who I am. I feel a kinship to him. When I was in college, I was a computer science major. So the technology background fits in with me. He's a king, he's regal, and that's how I feel.
I mean, you should feel that way. That's
Absolutely.
how we should all feel. And then taking that, so if you had to be, let's take him out of it for a second, what would be your superpower?
Well, my superpower I think I have now that I tell the people is I get them to think about things they would never think about on their own. And be that corporate executive, be that a student, I can talk to them and tell them things, and they will think about things they never thought about on their own. Even entrepreneurs, and I talk to entrepreneurs all the time, I say, well, what about this? And they're like, wow. You can see the light bulb over their head. So that's the superpower I believe I have. If I could have a power that I don't have, it'd either be to read minds or to predict the future.
Okay.
One of those would be good.
Okay. And what would be your kryptonite, so to speak?
My kryptonite, unfortunately, is that I try to do too many things at once. So I try to do every single thing in the world. And so I need to not commit to everything that I commit to. I do a lot of things with my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. And I do the coaching with my kids. I'm a cyclist, so I try to go out and cycle and do that on my own. And so that's my kryptonite, trying to do too much.
Okay. Well, I mean, this has been a pleasure, and that's a lot of information. I really wish we had a lot more time to sit and talk to you, and who knows, maybe we'll do this again. But I appreciate you taking the time and coming to speak to us, to me and the audience. I think a lot of people will be touched by some of the things you said and maybe be encouraged to do what you're doing. Just jump in the ring and start helping people, encouraging people. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And just tell anyone that if they're looking at a college, come to Mercy College. We have a bunch of phenomenal programs. We actually have a 1-year MBA, so you can get your MBA in 1 year.
Okay.
If you have associates, we have a 1-year degree, so you can get out in 3 years instead of 4 years, or one additional year. So come to Mercy and look me up, Scorpio Rogers.
I think you just told them. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Welcome back to another episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform, where we're interviewing and talking to our superheroes in the community. This evening we have Monique Minnis with us. Monique, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Monique, tell me the name of the organization that you're here representing right now.
I represent Moving the Chains Incorporated. We are a nonprofit organization that reinforces academics through athletics to our young athlete scholars.
Okay, and what kind of organization? What do you guys do? What is your focus?
Well, our focus is the youth.
Okay.
But we do a plethora of things. So we have the football team, which is like our main platform, where people get to know us. We also have the 4th and Inches program, where we help our scholar athletes pick their high schools that are geared toward the different skills that they want to display in life in general. We also have SAT prep for guys that are moving on out of high school. We have the track and field program, which is South Bronx Fire. That's our track team. We also go into the community and just do different volunteer works, food drives, car washes, if you will, just different things for the youth to be able to give back to their community and be a part of their community.
Okay, now where in the community is this based?
So we're locally based in the South Bronx, predominantly the Morrisania area. We hold a couple of permits for different fields, so you may see us in Pelham Bay Park or Bill Rainey Field, which some know as Kelly Park. Just the South Bronx in general. We don't kind of seclude ourselves.
Okay. Now, these children that you guys are dealing with, what are the age groups?
Okay, so for the program, we deal with children from 6 to 14. Okay. That is only within the realms of our football team, because it is our agenda to send them on to high school.
And is this boys and girls?
This is boys and girls for better opportunities. You know, no one gets drafted from sandlot ball, but they do get scouted by the high schools.
Fantastic.
We also work on their personal skills, what they're good at, because we believe what they learn on the field transpires into real life. Okay.
So how do these kids come to you? How do you guys find these children?
Oh, wow. Word of mouth, our website, Facebook is really popular. I think all the kids are on Facebook, Instagram. So we definitely had to attack social media. So that's where we get a lot of our kids from. Also the high schools, they look at us as being one who can provide them with very good athlete scholars, so they also send kids to us that they know are not at their level.
So the focus is not strictly athletics, it's more about these kids learning the discipline to better themselves educationally.
Absolutely.
How did the connection with the high schools come? Was that just kind of it just happened thing, or were there efforts to make that connection?
I think just being in the community and traveling, we make it our business to go into the different areas of our community and just introduce ourselves and say, hey, listen, we're here for you. We're here for your scholars. And if there's anything that we could do, please let us know. And from that type of networking, we've been able to just bring in a plethora of parents and kids. Sometimes we may even stand on a corner, hand out flyers.
Okay. So you mentioned parents. How do parents do parents interact? How do you pull them in? Because we know the community is full of children. Our communities are full of children, but not often are the parents as involved in the extracurricular activities. Do you guys pull them in? Do they volunteer? How does that work out?
That's a good question. I've been faced with both. I've had to go to the Department of Corrections for like Spofford to meet with counselors, and then there are parents that are willing to do for their kids and just don't know how. Okay. So I make it parent friendly. I would have events that are geared specifically toward parents, so that they too feel like they're getting something from the organization. I'm a foodie, I like to eat, parents like to eat. So that's how I kind of rope them in, and then it kind of takes off from there. They want to know how could they help me help their child. And that causes a domino effect where parents are like, okay, look at that parent. Maybe we can help them now. Right. So it's always a draw in. Okay.
Before we close out, give us your contact information really quick.
We can be found on Facebook, BronxChargers/Facebook.com. We also can be reached via telephone, 347-597-2131. And Huddle. Huddle is another place that you can look on Google, and we should come up in Huddle so you can see some highlights.
I'll take a look.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by and hanging with us.
The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's the end of this segment. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please come back for our next episode.
It's time we give.